live. We're gonna do it live.
The button. Push the button. Push
So,
the button.
so Brian's
Push
Brian's doing Harkonnen stuff over there by himself.
The throat singing comes soon.
Yeah.
Oh God! No, I know I'm no Superman. Somebody save me. Let your warm hands break right through. Somebody save me. Don't care how you do it, just stay. Come on, I've been waiting for you. I made this whole world shine for you.
Welcome to Films in Black and White, everybody. You all couldn't see it, but I was doing dramatic Smallville poses during the intro.
Tween drama Superman poses.
Yeah, between drum, like when they give like the title card, like
Yeah,
Tom
and
Welling.
But you got to turn too, like you gotta.
Yeah. Yeah, if I had hair, it'd be blowing, but
you'd be Lex Luthor, so it doesn't matter.
hey, real talk. That's the way it is. I've been cursed with a Lex Luthor-esque hair situation.
I was saying that like Lex doesn't have hair either, so you'd be fine. That's what it meant to. That's not how it came out though.
No,
I think if I ever think about this show, I'm always thinking I'd be the guy that'd be like looking at something, and then it's like they remember the camera's there, and like, you know, like a little bit of the surprise, just a little bit.
Right, you got to give yourself more credit, brother. That's not who you would be.
Brian, I feel like you would be the one who's reading and like takes off his glasses and like looks kind of like off into the distance. That would be you.
Yeah. Dramatic. Yeah, that's you, Brian.
Nailed it. Yeah.
What I was reading was really important.
Brian.
Changes everything.
We never see what you're reading, but we assume you're smart by
wow.
the pencil.
Yeah, well, we know you're smart.
We know you're smart. The audience will never see. They never do a camera pan over the shoulder to see you.
They don't give a shit. The audience is like, we don't know him.
He's got glasses and a pencil. He's clearly the smartest guy in the room.
He's clearly the nerd.
Worked for Giles on Buffy. That dude, all that dude did was hang out in a library and had a British accent. Like this guy knows stuff.
Yeah, he's classy.
Yeah. We got a great show. Welcome to episode 3 of Supermania month, or Supermania month.
No, it's Supermania month.
As you can see, we are on Man of Steel today by our friend Zack Snyder. So we're going to talk about that at the end of this week, and then tomorrow at the end here. Really big show.
Really big.
We got a really big show talking about James Gunn's Superman review. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the Hollywood premiere is tonight.
It's happening right now as we record.
It is happening as we speak. So I imagine we're going to get a bunch of reviews tomorrow, as well as like Rotten Tomatoes official rating as well. So we're going to get all of that stuff, which being a millennial, I'm going to read in depth before I go and do anything. I realize that's like my toxic millennial trait is that I read reviews for everything. Doug, do you need a review of which dress shoes look the best?
No.
Nope, but I'm gonna find one.
That's interesting because not all reviews are like equal, and it depends on who you.
They are not.
Like, you know what I mean? Because some are helpful, and then some are just not helpful at all.
No, they're not.
Okay, so I've gotten to a point where like I reviewed the review websites, Doug. So I only go to like 3 websites to check out the reviews on stuff. Like if I'm buying it, like Wirecutter, that's in like the Pantheon. There's a few other. I won't get into it right now, but like I get it. Like because sometimes I'm like I just want like the best value Bluetooth wireless earbuds. I don't want to. I need the quick review. Tell me fast.
That's funny as hell.
So Brian is the final boss of review.
Melee. Final slash.
Yep.
Look.
But yeah, we're also going to talk a little bit about Scarlett Johansson. Marcus, Mason, and I. Shout out to Mason here in Verm. Happy he's here.
Nice.
But the three of us went to see Jurassic World Rebirth. So we have thoughts on that. We're going to try to make it spoiler free, but I have a feeling it's not going to be. We're doing our best, but
that's fine.
There's going to be shit that makes me mad that I'm going to end up talking about.
No, that's true. We'll get into
it. Excellent.
But in order to do it well, in order to do it right, I'm going to kick it on over to Brian Roush. I will find him. How you doing, sir?
I forgot that was his name. So what the fuck is he yelling for?
So yes, my Chiron is Michael Shannon's most beloved line in Man of Steel. I will find him. Can't wait to talk about that in a little bit and tell you how many times he said that line in a single sequence. But yeah, I'm here. We're doing great. It's the week after 4th of July. I'm full of hot dogs and burgers, and I have a lot of sun on my skin. So it was good. It was a good long weekend. It was good. So I'm happy to be here, man. We started watching The Bear. We're not finished with The Bear yet, but man, that's a great show.
The new season or the whole show?
Yeah, the new season. Season 4 released recently.
Damn.
We're working our way through it. I know some people just marathoned it in a day, which to them, I envy you. That sounds
How long is each episode?
Usually a half hour. Sometimes they're an hour.
35 to 45 minutes, give or take.
Yeah, we take our time with it after Maggie almost got like a panic attack from an episode in season 1. I think it's the one where they start taking Grubhub orders and they forget to turn it off. And basically they get like 300 orders in like the span of an hour. And Maggie at the end of that episode, Maggie's like, this is the closest I think a TV show has made me feel like I'm gonna have a panic attack. So like it was at that point, it was like, okay, we can only watch like 2 to 3 episodes of this, like
that shit real. Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about The Bear. They do such a great job conveying this anxiety and urgency all in a small stakes environment. I mean, there's an entire plot line in season 2 about if we don't get the fire suppression system working, this restaurant won't work. Like it won't be able to open. And that's the thing. That's the thing they are talking about for like multiple episodes. It's not the entire plot, but like it gets to the point you're like, well, if this fire suppression system doesn't work, like what are they going to do? What are they going to do?
Yes.
You know? Now I'm invested. Yeah. Well, you got to get that fire. So I don't even know what a fucking fire suppression system is.
Which is very important.
I mean, right? I mean, it's fun. It's fun to watch that when I'm used to watching stuff. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, and we talk all the time about like world-ending threats or dinosaurs chasing you. So to see like these people be like, I don't know about this fire suppression system. It's
the stakes are significantly lower
and more real.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like absolutely. So that's me in a nutshell, Doug.
Brian, what was your hot dog kill count over the weekend? Was it just one?
Oh no.
Did you hammer like 5 or 6 of those motherfuckers? Like what did you do?
I'm a little embarrassed, but I mean we're in the 10 range.
God like, damn.
Yeah. Whoa, this is a judge-free zone. Leave Brian alone. What the fuck?
You guys, I say that with love. And to be honest, envy, because I'm not sure I could
sound like love.
I don't think I could put down 10.
It doesn't sound like love.
It was not over one day. I mean, we had
no. You'd be a maniac to eat 10 hot dogs in one day.
I would just have meat coming out of my pores. But like we had a party Friday.
Now
that's all I am.
I sweat the glizzy.
We over ordered, right? Because we wanted everyone to make sure they had food. So it was just like, well, we have leftover hot dogs. So yeah, it was like 3 a day, basically. Yeah,
it's not bad.
Yeah. So
is there a special Chicago hot dog that that you get, or do you just get something from Walmart?
I mean, we would love to get the local stuff. It's a tad too expensive, and we needed like 60 hot dogs because we ended up hosting like 30 plus people.
Oh, fuck.
So yeah. So we just went with the Oscar Mayer brand. Like we were fine with that. We did have though, because we are in the Chicago area, we did also have Italian beef. So like if hot dogs weren't your thing, get an Italian beef. So And the other thing too is some people then put a hot dog on it and then they put Italian beef on the hot dog. And I was just like, okay, like rock on, man. I would have never thought about that. So that feels very Chicago to me.
That's wild.
Do y'all put sour? This is random. This is not hot dogs in black and white, but do y'all put sauerkraut?
Tube steaks and films in black and what? Go ahead. Sorry, what?
Do you do you put sauerkraut on your hot dogs?
No, that's a disgusting condiment.
I have in the past, but I don't regularly.
That was
let me brine my onions for too long and then put them on shit. Yeah, no thanks. I think
there are people that eat the sauerkraut straight, like spoonful out of the jar.
Yeah, and those people have a problem.
Like it hurts. Yeah, like
I can't do that.
That's aggressive as hell.
Yeah, I don't care for it. Don't care for that.
No,
this
was a very short conversation because everybody's like, oh, no, fuck no.
No, fuck that.
No,
I am a ketchup and that's it type of person on my hot dog.
Oh wow,
that's it.
I'm very surprised. No, I had like the celery salt and the tomato and the pickle. Like it was.
If someone's gonna make that for me, I'm gonna eat that all day long.
If you
make
it,
I have to make it. No, I'm not making.
I'm at least adding relish, mayo, ketchup.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Wait, mayo?
Yeah, put mayo on the bread. Mayo on the bread.
Oh,
okay.
Hot dog,
I'm learning a lot.
Ketchup and relish.
I heard.
Chili.
Here's an interesting thing to contribute to this. I'm not going to Lisbon for sauerkraut days, Roman.
Apparently,
no thanks.
Shout out to Lisbon.
Comments says Lisbon has sauerkraut day. I'm assuming Lisbon, Iowa. That's what I know.
Shout out Lisbon. Woo!
Yeah, claim to fame is sauerkraut days. I think I'm all set.
That's hot dog days.
I'm fucking like just
shout out to Tyndall, South Dakota for their hot dog days. You know what I mean? They be holding it
down. I heard an interesting fact about bratwurst. Some people like boil their brats in beer ahead of time.
Okay.
And I heard somebody framed it really interestingly where they were like, yeah, why would you do that? You wouldn't drink a hot beer. That would be disgusting. Cook your brats and then soak them in beer afterward and the flavor will be better. So that's gonna be my next try. Pretty excited about
the
it.
brat and then put it in beer afterwards.
Yeah, because if you're going for that like beer flavor to your bratwurst,
am
I don't know. You might not be. I am, but you might not be. But like, so that's just maybe.
That's interesting.
Sounds like I'm doing extra white guy shit.
I didn't say you. When you say comments like that, the black box automatically gets highlighted. I didn't say anything, so I just want you to know I didn't say a damn thing. I was letting you rock.
Yeah.
My great white hope.
No. That's on me. That's on me, you guys. I said that.
Look at Roman asking what's your choice of beer?
Well, I'm not gonna put something fancy in there. Like you boil it like a Miller Lite because I want a super beery flavor. Like so, yeah. Anyway, this is going down a rabbit hole. This is quickly becoming
You've spent like 5 minutes on
grilling tips and this. Yeah. Anyway,
I do want to say I've put sauerkraut on a hot dog, or on a brat, not a hot dog. I want to backtrack there. I messed that up. Sorry, I was talking about the big boys, the big boy brats, not the hot dog. Sorry, that's
big boy brats.
I just want to clarify that. That was important to me.
The BBBs. Shout out to the big boy
big boy brats.
Shout out to the triple B's.
Marcus, how are you? Take it away before this train goes away.
Mars, Marcus J. Destin.
Why the fuck I gotta go off of the triple B?
Off of the triple B's.
No, I'm good, man. We here. It's a lot. Listen, it is Superman week. Like I am not playing no games. Nobody's gonna kill my fucking buzz.
I'm gonna try
Superman week. Nobody can do anything.
Right? Kill your vibe.
Here. We've been enjoying, having a good time. It's been just watching anime, going to work, missing the fireworks because they were only 20 minutes and then we missed the first 15 when they rescheduled, and then on trying to run around chase and find a good spot for 5 minutes they were over. So that was our that was our Sunday because they postponed them because of the thunderstorms. So then by the time we hit the road to like find a good spot in Verm, trying to see, like, you get too close, you in the trees, you too far back, you don't really get a good spot. It's a whole thing, right? So but so we missed it, but it was fine. We caught it.
Hey, that's fine. What What are some things, some anime that you and Mace have been watching?
We've been watching JJK, Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay.
That's one we watched together.
Okay.
Then we watched. That was it. I think that's all we watched together.
Yeah.
So really trying to get and chip away at Jujutsu Kaisen. He's been teaching me about Kaiju number 8. So we've been like kind of talking about that's what he's been watching and that kind of thing. And so we've been sharing what we've been watching back and forth. But the first one that we watched together was Jujutsu Kaisen.
That's really cool.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fun. That's really, really cool.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Shout out to Douglas Wagner,
There he is.
aka
Yeah.
what name? I missed it.
It's okay.
AKA
Burn.
That was my
self-induced burn victim.
Yeah. So
Oh, God.
I
What'd you-
went
what'd
up
you
to
do?
see my in-laws for 4th of July. So shout out to Brittany's family for
Shout out.
hosting me and
Shout
the
out.
kids. It was great seeing everybody. We typically do fireworks like ourselves. So like so Brittany has a friend who owns a fireworks stand
Nice.
in Hankinson, North Dakota.
Damn.
And she
yeah.
gives us like the friends and family discount. So she's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
so we'll drive through and she's like, well, normally this would be like $1,000, but you can just get all this for like $600. So like
way.
so it's not
Whoa.
a small discount. So shout out to Julie for doing that. But
Mhm.
so anyway, one of the things that you do to light a firework is like, it's not like you're going up there like with like a drug lighter. You know what I mean? Like
No.
those old Bic ones.
I mean, you
like those
could,
old Bic
but
lighters. You're not
don't.
going up there with
Drug
like one of
lighter?
those old. See, I almost said crack lighter, but then it was going to be a whole thing.
A
So I
crack
tried
lighter
to be
actually
like,
has a larger flame. It's more like a torch flame.
yeah,
Back
yeah,
in the day when they would like, when you could configure the Bic and like change
Yes.
it so the flame was higher.
yes.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
was actually what we would call it.
It's
yeah, for sure.
odd for someone who has been never done crack, how into crack culture I'm like invested. Anyway,
It is strange.
it's odd. It's odd. It's an odd choice. It's
Is
an odd
indeed.
choice on my part. It's an odd choice on my part. Anyway, so what they
Tis indeed, my brother. Tis
Guys,
indeed.
I want to mulligan the first 20 minutes of this podcast.
Hey,
Can I start over? Like, I think I might just have to leave and come back.
These first 17 minutes is sponsored by Doug's Glizzies and Crack.
Do you need a fix? Is it grease or is it something a little bit else? Like, we got uppers and downers. Our downers or
Yeah.
glizzies are
We
uppers.
go
and
to
Doug,
the
I
game
want to
around
know,
here.
how are you lighting these fireworks? That's what I
Okay,
want to know.
thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what is his interest with Glizzies and Crack. I got to know. I'm really,
they have
I'm
these
really-
things called punk sticks, and they're essentially like they're unscented incense, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
and they're on a big stick,
Oh,
and they get hot, but they don't have a flame. So like it makes it easier so you can light a firework from a long way away.
okay.
Oh,
Well,
no.
at one point in time, all 5 children, including mine,
Yep.
and then my sister-in-laws, gathered around me to light sparklers for everybody.
Excellent.
And so I've got like 2 sparklers in my hand, and then I've got the
No.
punk stick between my teeth.
Oh,
And
no.
I'm like, can somebody come and take this from me, please? And all of the adults are like looking at me like, what are you doing? I'm like, what the fuck does it look like I'm like? What does it look like I'm doing? Like, I'm putting on a show. Like, they wanted sparklers. Why are you asking me this question?
I've also got one in my butt.
I
So it's
also
like-
have it hidden somewhere else. But anyway, I turned and I looked down and I basically put the punk stick out on my wrist. So
Aye.
if you've ever put a cigarette out on yourself by accident, that is essentially what I
I've
did
never-
today.
How?
I've
never done
shit.
that.
So
I've
I
never
have
done-
this like nice, like right near where my watch is, this nice
Excellent.
like marble shaped burn. It's just right there.
Oh,
Um,
ow.
So, but I still have all my fingers. I still have all my toes.
Hey, that's good.
I
That
have
is
all my
good.
eyebrows.
My favorite,
Okay.
my favorite memory will always be with like 4th of July. We was going down to like Louisiana. Shout out to my kinfolk out there in Louisiana, and we would. This is so bad. We do not condone this as a podcast, but we would
No.
like shoot fireworks at each other, like the
Oh,
like the
yeah.
Roman candles, like down the
Yep.
street, and like pow pow pow, like have a whole.
Yep.
Thing. It was a whole like the little black cats toss them at each other's feet,
Oh my
like that kind of thing.
gosh.
I will always remember that because it's just a smoky street, and all you smell is the residue from fireworks.
Yep.
It
And then
smells
you
so
see the
good.
color of the Roman candle just pew, boom, 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 like just man, good times.
Yeah.
Dangerous as fuck, but good
Oh,
times.
entirely unwise, but
Oh my
very,
gosh.
very, very fun.
If I saw my kid doing that, oh my gosh, that'd be a come here, talk to me now.
Yeah,
type
for
moment.
sure, for sure.
Yeah. I can't, like, they make me so nervous now. As a younger person, I was like, yeah, shoot him out into that. Like, I was like one of those I was
Yep.
exactly Marcus, that same boat of like,
Yep.
yeah, where can we shoot this? But
Yep.
now I'm like, everybody stands 6 feet away. Do we have a bucket of water present? Like,
Yup.
it's just like,
Yup.
or like, it's just your whole like DNA
changes.
changes. when
Oh
you
my
get
gosh.
older.
Until you see
At
these stories
risk.
of people that got their like fingers like literally blown off, like being
Oh, yeah.
stupid, and like, I mean, you can't come back from that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
well,
No.
what's out there?
Yep,
No.
accurate.
Mhm.
Brian,
Hello.
can you, before we pivot into Catch That Quotable, can you run us down our socials for us,
Oh,
please?
yeah. You know what, Doug? I would love to do that. So I'm going to start off with Facebook. So you can find us at Films in Black and White on Facebook. We also live stream there every Monday at 8 p.m. Central. And then you can also go make sure to check us out on Instagram. Same handle, Films in Black and White on Instagram. You'll also find our reels from the show and everything else that we post on Instagram. And then going to touch on TikTok. So you can go over to TikTok. We're at Films in Black and White there as well. Same handle. We also post all of our video clips there as well. And then I'm also going to highlight Twitch. So we're Films in Black, the letter N, White. So you can go check us out over there. We're live streaming. You can go comment there, whatever you want there for the show. And then lastly, I'll touch on our YouTube, which is Films in Black and White. Again, you can catch this broadcast when we broadcast live at 8 p.m. on Mondays, as well as all of our video clips over there as well. Lastly, I'll touch on our Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/films in black and white. You can sign up for one of our heats there to financially support the podcast. This is how we can remain independent and speak on the things that we think are important. I don't think a lot of other podcasts that are owned by larger companies would have had the Superman slate that we would have had over the past few
Absolutely.
weeks.
I actually have not seen nobody have the
most
same
certainly
Superman slate we
don't
did.
think they would have been brave enough to talk about hot dogs and bratwursts within the first 10 minutes of their podcast.
Or would have been brave enough to talk about Brandon Routh's suit from
Yes.
Superman Returns.
They got a lot of feedback on socials.
Yes,
did get quite a lot of feedback
go
on
check
that.
our
We
socials out. Everybody
did.
has an opinion on that suit. But if we were owned by a bigger corporation, we would
They
not be
own
able to
me.
spend 15 minutes
Own
talking
this
about Brandon Routh's Superman Returns suit. So if you want that type of deep dive analysis from this podcast, go to patreon.com/films in black and white. Sign up for one of our heats, and you can financially support us to make sure that we can keep this show going. And then lastly, if you're not able to support us on Patreon, make sure to subscribe to any of the socials that I just mentioned. Also, go check out my wife's website, thelovenerds.com.
Brian, you're a trooper. Like, you are just,
Brian is the man. He
You know how I know-
perseveres.
You know how I know Brian has 3 kids is because Marcus and I could say some wild shit while he is deep in thought, and my man is unfazed.
He be locked in.
Meanwhile, I only have 2, so I'm not used to that like extra wild card coming out of nowhere.
The one I've got none, so I'll be on bullshit all the time.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah,
Can I also take the time to use this platform to express some of my disgruntled opinions? Just one briefly.
Okay.
yes,
We got Catch That Quotable coming up.
2. Yes, Catch That Quotable is coming right up, everybody. Don't touch that dial.
Don't
This
touch that
won't take
dial.
long, all right? Listen,
right back.
I want you to know that if you follow me, okay, 1, Big Texas is coming. We're dropping on Sunday. That is not what this is about, though. Okay. If you follow me and you support things like Ann Coulter and the things that she said, fuck off. Right? You can unfollow me.
All the way off.
This is
All the
for
way
you.
off. Okay. This podcast is not for you. If you support anything that is racist, transphobic, homophobic, one of the legislators in South Dakota tweeting out, posting a post and saying it's a white boy summer and they mad about it or whatever it is that he did. Yeah, bullshit. Right? Y'all are getting very emboldened. For all you emboldened motherfuckers, kiss my ass. Okay, that is me as an individual. That does not represent my job, nor does it represent, whatever else I'm associated. It represents me. Okay, and I'm telling you that. So that is what I want to say from my little black square. Okay, I want to take this platform to denounce all that bullshit because I don't give a fuck that y'all are excited and emboldened by other people's bullshit. You bring that around me, we gonna have some problems. I'm gonna let you know how we feel. Okay, that is that.
I would like to take him out as one of the white squares to say
Yeah.
110% to what Marcus said. Like, I don't bring that around any of us because that is not who we are. So yeah, fuck, you can fuck all the way off if any of those things.
And
are
I'm not
your
being
beef.
and I'm not being nice about it. I don't care about y'all
No.
feelings. There's no need to say any of that shit. If y'all have felt so suppressed this entire time and oppressed this entire time, boo fucking who? Welcome to the party. I don't give a fuck.
I do also want to say one other thing because I've been thinking about this. So really quickly to kind of it's in similar to this. I want to take a moment to just say like I'm thoughts, prayers, good vibes, whatever to the people in Texas with that flood. That is a horrific situation. And I really want peace for all those folks because it's terrible. Yeah. I do want to say one thing. You know, for those of us who maybe didn't vote for the current administration, can we not do this thing like you get what you pay for or you get what you vote for? I don't want to do that fucking shit. Like, because there are some people who lost family members and we're trying to make that turn that horrific. That's going to shatter their life for the rest of their life. Let's not do that. Like, let's have some compassion and be upstanding human beings because that's a horrific situation. And it had nothing to do with an orange xenophobic maniac convincing them that their greatest fears were going to come to pass. They are entirely separate situations. Let's not do this like you got what you vote for thing because I think it's bullshit. And I think it's really, really shitty. So
it's inappropriate.
It really kind of is. And so 100% to what Marcus said, if you're going to come out and say like we didn't kill enough Native Americans, you can take the straight train to take a step back and fuck your face. Because that's terrible.
Yeah, we are not a safe space for those people.
No, we are not. But we could also say, like, let's be better than those people and not say horrific things.
Be better human beings by holding the line and holding accountability to people who say foul shit like that. Right?
100%.
Don't become the foul people that say shit like that. We need to be better. I'm tired of all this fucking you get what you paid for and this is what you voted for, so now eat it. We all gotta suffer from this shit. So shut the fuck up and help your community and build community because that is where we're gonna be the strongest.
Yeah. I heard a really good interview over the weekend with Senator Cory Booker, and one thing that he said that is just kind of standing out to me, which is like Americans do better when we all win. Like when we are all succeeding and thriving and reaching our goals, the nation is better. So let's not, like Marcus said, we have to be better and hold those people who say horrific things accountable. But that also means that, you know, we can't give into the it's really easy, but we can't get into the divisive rhetoric. So
and speaking of Hashtag Quotable, I would also like to commit us as an individual square that the proceeds from this Hashtag Quotable, whenever we hit $100, will go to those families impacted.
Yes,
that is where we will make our donation as a unit and just to do our little part of helping others out. That was a very hard left pivot into
Marcus. I love the hard left because I was going to be like, we're not a political podcast, but we do have a game we like to play called Catch That Quotable.
Catch That Quotable.
Silky sounds of Marcus J. Gentlemen, are you ready for this week's quote? Hit me. Hit me. I will find him.
You sound like a teenager. I will find him.
All right, here we go. You know, I don't really like this new crab with a conscience bit. I like my crab with a little hollandaise sauce, maybe a parsley garnish.
Oh, what is this?
This isn't Little Mermaid, right? I just gotta
Brian,
get that out of the way.
This is
okay. This is not Little Mermaid.
Ray, read it again. Brian went right into this. Ain't the Little Mermaid. Right?
You know, I don't really like this new crab with a conscience bit. I like my crab with a little hollandaise sauce, maybe a parsley garnish.
Ooh, I feel like I know what this is.
Okay,
but damn, Roman said time to get one, boy. It's been in a slump. Damn, Roman, motivational.
Ooh. All right.
Okay, I feel like Moana comes to mind, but that's not right.
It is not.
It's not. Yeah, it's not Moana.
Mermaid came to mind, but that so it's a talking crab, right? Crab with a conscience.
Crab with a conscience.
SpongeBob movie?
Maybe. I like to guess.
I can see you trying Rolling Rock. What is that?
That
It's a beer.
was for
It's a
the
beer.
broad beer,
Sorry.
which- Yeah, no, that'd be
Ridley
delicious.
coming.
This gentleman is, here's the first hint. It's
Okay.
a Netflix movie. And it's recent.
It's recent.
Mhm.
Roman said superheroes.
Correct.
Animated?
No, it is not animated.
It's a superheroes Netflix movie.
I will give you some other movies of the person of a cast member.
Okay, give me that.
Okay. Other movies of this person include Smurfs. It includes Spirited. It includes The Witches. It includes
The fuck?
it includes The Shape of Water. It includes Bad Santa 2. It includes it includes Fruitvale Station. It includes
What?
It includes
What?
It includes The Help. It includes Dinner for Schmucks, and it includes Halloween 2.
This is one person?
This is one person's filmography that was in this movie.
Who the hell is
I'm sorry.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
my mind went to Michael B. Jordan when he said Fruitvale Station. I'm trying to think who else was in Fruitvale Station.
Also, Coach Carter is in her.
Yo, this is random as hell. Is
I
somebody
swear,
black?
I swear to God, I'm not fucking with you.
Is this somebody black?
It is someone black. Yes,
I was about to say something.
please, Brian. Brian, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, do we need to start thinking about black actors?
Yeah, we
'Cause
do. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Read the quote one more time and give us the example. I got this.
You
shit. I'm
know,
locked
I
in.
don't really like this new crab with a conscience bit. I like my crab with a little hollandaise sauce, maybe a parsley garnish.
Damn. And this is a recent Netflix movie
Mm-hmm.
about superheroes.
Correct. The person who I was trying to give you a hint for was also in The Sixth Man with remember that movie? The
Marlon
Sixth Man?
Wayans? No,
No.
Marlon Wayans is the sixth man with the ghost basketball.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wait,
I
don't know what it is. I
I
feel
don't
like
know
we're gonna be
this.
sitting here all week.
Okay.
Give me the person.
Octavia Spencer.
Wait,
Oh fuck,
what?
I'm not. It's a super. Oh, is this the one with Thunder Buddies? Like the Thunder. Melissa. It's Melissa.
Butterscotch soda.
Thunder Buddies. No, Thunder
it's
Buddies.
Thunder
no.
Rock. Thunder something like Thunder. They become a Melissa becomes a hero. She becomes a superhero. And they gotta train her up, and her and Octavia Spencer are both partners. And the bad guy is like the Thunder Rock.
It's the Thunder.
The Thunder
It's the movie The Thunder.
Here's
Well-
the thing. If you could just say the name, you'd get it. Because you nailed that shit top to bottom. We just need you to get the fucking name.
Oh man, we didn't get the name.
Thunder.
Oh,
Let me tell you this. Thunder Buddies? That ain't it.
Thunder Cots? No.
Oh.
Thunder. Get your orders on everyone. Butterscotch soda is on stock. Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. Thunderclap.
It's not Thunder. No, don't say that.
Thunder Thighs?
Thundercats. Ha!
What is the name of the fucking movie, man?
I'll tap out. I don't know.
Thunder Force.
Ow.
Like I was way off. Like, come on, man.
I mean, you got the first half.
You nailed the plot. You nailed everything about that movie, but the name. Just
Melissa McCartney. That's what I couldn't think of her damn
Melissa
name.
McCartney.
Damn.
Yeah. Well,
All
there you
right.
go. Well,
Roman's
away.
a hater. How many Thunder guesses are we gonna allow? Yeah, I was close.
also, can we talk about how Octavia Spencer's filmography
Yo, that's
is
a crazy-
fucking insane?
Shout out to Octavia Spencer.
An all-timer.
Shout out
Yes,
to Octavia. You didn't even say Mama.
No, I didn't say Mama.
Oh,
I didn't
man.
say I didn't say Hidden Figures because
I probably would have figured it out from Hidden Figures and Mama.
Okay, when you were listening to those, I was like, has this person also been in Hidden Figures? We can get it down to 3.
Once you got to Coach Carter, Fruitvale Station, I was like, they're black as hell. But I can't it was their first 4 movies. I was like, ooh, this could be anybody.
It absolutely could have. Yeah,
Coach Carter was definitely a tipping point for sure.
Yeah.
Damn.
Shout
out to Roman.
Shout out to Roman. Gentlemen, Brian specifically.
Hello,
are you in the Chrome browser? Or where are you at this time?
I'm in the Chrome browser.
Oh,
okay.
There's an electrical storm in the air. So it's just it is what it is.
I also live in the same area with you, and but yeah.
Brag.
That's all right.
Take it away.
Brian, you wanted to talk about Scarlett Johansson. Not Scarlett.
I sure did.
Scarlett.
Scarlett, as it were.
Freudian slip.
So, yes, what I would like to bring to this podcast's attention that really surprised me today is that Scarlett Johansson, congratulations, is the highest grossing actor ever after leading Jurassic World Rebirth this weekend. So I would like to say congrats, I guess, to her. I
guess
she did it. Well, I mean, like, she doesn't really need a congrats. She has like oodles of money at this point. So I don't think she needs a congrats. The money's the congrats, right? So yeah, because she has been part of so many lead ensemble casts. I think for people that follow this podcast,
can we read this off?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, go ahead, Doug.
Avengers Endgame 2.7.
Why'd you just put Brian off like that?
Because they were tag teaming it. This is a team podcast.
This is Brian's story. You handed it off. Let Brian read.
No. Go ahead, Brian.
I want to hear his sultry voice.
Tell us more about
away,
Scarlett.
Brian. Tell us about ScarJo.
So yeah. I feel like mom and dad fought, and now we still have to do the thing.
Do the dance. Do the dance.
Avengers Endgame.
She said, "Put the blue pants on," and I agreed. Put them on.
That sounds like it was really familiar to you. I can't put up. It sounded really like
for the Christmas card.
Here's the thing: there's a lot of Avengers movies in here, and I'm sure people who follow the podcast can piece that together. Here's the thing that surprised me: The Jungle Book made $951 million.
That's a lot
during its theatrical run, which she was a part of, and then Sing, that animated movie where the animals sang popular songs, that made $631 million.
Mm-hmm.
I just found out Scarlett Johansson was in Sing.
That's funny.
So there's that. And then she was in the movie version of Lucy, which made $457 million.
She was a pig in Sing, didn't she?
I think she did. Yes.
Yeah, she was.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's Avengers Endgame, Avengers Endgame, Infinity War, The Avengers, Age of Ultron. That's that's like, ooh, is this I say billions? Hold the fuck on.
Yeah, that's billion. That was their theatrical run.
Oh my, she rich as fuck. Oh my god.
So yeah, Scarlett Johansson is at the top of the list. And that was the news item that I wanted to bring. Mother is mothering. I see you, Nikki, in the comments. Yeah. ScarJo's got it good. She's
fine as hell, and she like highest grossing actor ever. Like that's crazy as hell.
Yeah.
And Marvel, you just like fumbled that entire bag, which is nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive that Marvel fumbled this talent that is like printing money, basically. Like, I just don't understand how they let it get it so bad. It's unreal to me.
Yeah.
So what is Jurassic Park on par? What are they on track to make?
I mean, they made $340 million plus this weekend.
Damn.
So I mean, I think
shocking.
that could hit nuts. It's nuts to me. So I think it could hit $1 billion during its theatrical run.
There was no competition this weekend. I mean, Doug Mason and I went to go see it, but like it's still a Jurassic Park movie over a July 4th weekend. Like that's
Yeah.
gonna do what
Yeah.
it needs to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think Jurassic Park as a
I agree, man.
franchise. We see
They
you,
didn't
Nikki, in the
deserve her.
comments. Disney did not deserve her, especially after they slow rolled Black Widow. Yeah, like I think dinosaurs. Here's the thing. Here's my business brain going. Jurassic Park is going to be that 4 quadrants thing. It's going to appeal to kids,
Yep.
to men, to women, to old people, to young people. Doug's taking a minute. I think it's just me and Marcus now. It's fine. Well, I think that's the thing here. Is like everybody could go to that movie because you could convince anyone to be like, hey, you want to go see these people chased by dinosaurs? I think that's an easy sell on a holiday weekend.
I agree. I mean, if that 4 quadrants, you are absolutely right. Her being a part of that. Oh,
Yeah.
Samuel, that makes sense on the amount of roles he takes. Yeah. It doesn't feel like Scarlett Johansson has been in that many movies, but maybe that's just because a lot of those movies are Avengers movies. Now, shout out to Marvel, as I also just shitted on you for fucking up and fumbling that bag. You are responsible for the top half of that list of why she is now one of the highest grossing actors of all time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No. So like, I that's crazy as hell, dog.
Yeah. I mean, it's the roles that she has. I mean, she's done basically one of everything essentially at this point, and I think she knows how to pick projects. She does know how to pick I also feel like going to like the top 10 list here, this Marvel pipeline, I think is going to impact this type of thing moving forward because Sam Jackson is the second highest on this list for top 100 stars leading a box office. Then it's Robert Downey Jr. They have the full complete list here, and you see Zoe Saldana there. Chris.
Oh, can I read the top 10?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Now it's okay to interrupt Brian.
But you see that I asked him first, so. So Scarlett Johansson at number 1, Samuel Jackson. I'm not gonna read the prices because y'all can do that on your own. But I will read how many movies they've been in. So Scarlett Johansson has been in 36 movies. Samuel Jackson has been in 71 movies. Robert Downey Jr. has been in 45. Zoe Saldana has been in 33. Chris Pratt is number 5 on this list, and I don't know why I'm shook by that, but he's at 26. Yeah. Tom Cruise is at 6, and he has been in 45 movies. And then Chris Hemsworth is at 7 with 28. Vin Diesel is at number 8 with 28. And then Dwayne The Rock Johnson is at number 9 with 39. And then Chris Evans is at number 10 with 39. And Tom Holland is at 14, just for shits and giggles, everybody.
Well, we know how madly you want to see him.
Yeah, but Will Smith is at 17, just for reference.
Yep.
Wow.
Because I do think that matters.
Yeah,
it definitely does.
It is wild to see their average box office pull for when they're in a movie, what the average that movie will make. So at this point, if you put Scarlett Johansson in your movie, on average, you're gonna make $400 million, which is just
they're gonna be throwing shit at her.
That's more money than I could ever possibly imagine to have. So it's just it's bonkers. It's bonkers. It is at this point. So
can we talk for a minute about how of the top 25,
all of them have been in a Marvel movie?
Well, there's that, but then on top of it, there's only 5, assuming I've done my math right. There's only 4 or 5 that are actually females.
Oh yeah.
So that means 25% of those who are only women, which means 75% of the highest grossing.
Yes.
So when we hear people bitch about like, well, they gotta stop with this DEI bullshit. Like,
that's fact.
No.
Yeah. No, this proves it. These are all.
No, we do not.
And
actually, that is a great point, to be honest with you, because Samuel Jackson being at 2 also got to mean something, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And Vin Diesel, because Vin Diesel ain't in nothing but Fast and Furious movies.
He just stopped. He's just in those movies.
He's just only in Fast and Furious. He doesn't do anything else but Fast and Furious exclusively.
That's it.
OnlyFans, but it's only fast because it's just
Oh,
Vin Diesel.
man.
In, like,
Don't give him ideas.
Furious movies.
Don't give him ideas.
It's him rubbing down a car.
This is gonna be him.
This was made
like,
in America in 19.
Only wheels. It'll be OW. It'll just be him and pictures of like
just
tire
him
rims.
greasing
and
the
that's it.
wheels on the OnlyFast. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that's also something like who are people of color who are in this list. I think again, you're looking at maybe 6.
Yeah.
yeah.
And these people, like, to the other part of that conversation is some of these people on this list, they then expand beyond right to all audiences, but you still have to jump through those hoops and obstacles and the payment, the differences in pay and all of that kind of stuff, like those experiences to get to this point. That is no slouch for Scarlett Johansson to be number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
not at all.
like, that's fire.
I'll be honest, like, I'm not saying Scarlett Johansson's a bad actress by any means, but if you would have said last week, hey, she's going to be the top grossing actor
I never would have
ever, I would have laughed in your face.
Yeah.
Like, she's like been in some big projects, but no way she'll be like the top actor. Nope, here she is.
To see it on
top.
paper, considering they just paid Robert Downey Jr. what they did for Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah.
Seeing it written out, that's crazy. And shouts out to ScarJo.
Yeah.
Honestly,
keep
she's
getting that
getting it
bag,
done.
lady.
I mean,
Unrelated, she's fine as hell.
Accurate.
taking down dinosaurs. So is this a good segue into discussing how you all enjoyed Jurassic Park? What was it? The Lost
The Lost Rebirth.
It was Jurassic Park Rebirth C-section.
No, it was Jurassic World Rebirth.
Thank you.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, we saw it.
It's okay. Okay.
This was it was an unexpected C, right? Because we didn't have it on we didn't discuss it as a podcast.
No, we didn't.
I just thought it was coming to Verm, and it was coming a day early. And so before everybody started, Doug leaving and the 4th of July weekend, I was like, well, maybe this is a good time. Just go catch a movie. Just to go catch a movie. We love Jurassic Park. We love
Well, it's been forever since I've just seen a movie.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Without having to review it. So we didn't even watch it to bring it to the pod, but like we did ended up going to go see it. So yes, saying she is fine as hell is a great segue. Can't think of a smoother transition. Thanks, Roman.
Hey, we did our best.
We aim to please.
We don't want to disappoint anybody.
You know what I mean?
So
fuck Ann Coulter, but shouts out to ScarJo.
I will say the general plot is
just my blank square. I just once again, I'm solely responsible for that comment.
But we boost it and agree with it 100%. I'm gonna keep us on Jurassic World.
Let's do it.
So this movie is very similar to other Jurassic Park movies. They have to go to one of the islands for a reason,
of course,
and believe it or not, it's not safe, so shit goes off the rails.
No,
I mean, that's essentially it. The only difference is that they had more genetically modified dinosaurs because this is where the InGen did all of its experiments.
Yeah.
They did also
throwaway dinosaurs on this island.
Yes, this is where the trash island of misfit.
They literally said the ones that are ugly. The ones that are not appeasing to the families when they come to visit, or they stay here on this island.
Trash dinos. Okay.
Trash dinos. And then they also tried to introduce this concept of we gotta have the little guy, and we don't want corporations to win. There's a whole undertone of that.
And they did do that.
The thing that bugs me.
Wait, okay, hold on, Doug. You're going too fast because you're going right into what bugs you.
I'm trying not to give anything away.
This is going to be a little bit of a spoiler, so everybody just hold on to your socks a little bit.
Spoilers,
as Samuel L. Jackson says, hold on to your butts.
Hold on, everybody, hold on to your butts. Snakes on the plane.
Jurassic Park.
The other part of the other layer to the story is the dinosaurs that they released in the last Jurassic Park movie are now dying because of the environment. So only on the equator are dinosaurs really thriving, closer to the warm equator, because that works better for their system. They introduced that. The reason that they're going to the island is because they, of course, like every other Jurassic Park movie, there is something in the dinosaurs, in the 3 big dinosaurs, land, sea, and air specifically, that is good. It helps the medicine or this big pharma company that this wealthy, rich ass motherfucker owns, who's sending them on this trip, because ScarJo is a spy. And so she is a spy that's been on missions, very ambiguous, but she's a spy that has been on successful missions that don't ask questions. There's the scientist who loves dinosaurs, but the exhibition is getting shut down exactly that day because nobody cares about the dinosaurs because they're all dying. So like you actually see like a bronchiosaurus or some shit like that dying in the street. Like it's the oldest one living
in New York City. Yeah,
in New York City. And so
these movies, okay,
they just so they kind of introduced that last concept, then threw it all away in this whole rebirth concept.
Yeah.
So they're going there because the medicine will help people with eye disease. Right.
Okay.
It's something like that.
They just sort of made it seem like rare disease.
Yeah,
that's
something very rare. Nikki said, girl, what?
Yeah.
Exactly. So sorry, Doug. Now, what bothers you?
Oh, Nikki, when you hear the dialogue of this movie, it absolutely feels AI generated.
No,
because
seriously?
the dialogue is insane.
Yeah.
I could tell you, there are moments where Mahershala Ali and Scarlett Johansson are having a conversation. Brian, I don't know what they're talking about. They are speaking English. I don't know what the point of that conversation is.
You do doze out a little bit with the dialogue where you're kind of like, wait, they're still talking? Like it's a deep conversation that they're trying to have.
They're all talking in innuendo.
Yes.
Like he's like, well, you know me, old dogs and bad habits. And she's like, well, you better not. And it's like, what the fuck? What conversation is happening here?
They're on the water, and this is kind of how I felt like I got dropped into it. They're on the water and they're going back and forth, and so all of a sudden Scarlett Johansson says, so did you and Lily ever figure it out? Hey, all I ever saw was my son. All we ever saw when we looked in each other's eyes is my son that we lost. So it was better that we just went our separate ways. Huh? What the fuck? Like,
why did you
just dropped us right in the middle of trauma bonding.
And then you add on top of that the background music, which is also fucking insane.
Yeah,
like
the score is not good.
It is. Oh, Mason, I only remember "Sorry About Your Partner." Yep, nailed it. Yep. But the music in the background is bonkers.
The score it didn't match. You have not the classic Jurassic Park score that always hits when you play it.
Oh yeah,
I'm talking about the score behind massive scenes that are happening. They don't match. And I think the other problem I had was they have extra bodies that they introduce in here that are part of the crew, but they are essentially just food for the dinosaurs.
Like my French friend who no one else spoke French to, and they have a man who speaks French in this movie. No one talks to him in French. They all talk to him in English. He answers in French. It doesn't make any sense. And then on top of that, he's always coming out of fucking somewhere. Like they're about to do something and he pops up and you're like, where the fuck where did he come from?
Okay, so I looked up the writer for this, and obviously Michael Crichton. Michael Crichton is credited as a writer, but he's the creator of Jurassic Park, the book series. Yeah. So I think that's why he gets that writing credit. But then we also have David. I've never seen this. David Cope.
Okay,
and you'll be happy to know that he also has writing credits for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. He also has writing credits. He has a screenplay credit for the latest Mummy with Tom Cruise. He also wrote, let's see here. He also has a writing credit for, oh my gosh, what is War of the Worlds back in 2005. So like
Tom Cruise War of the Worlds?
No, yeah, Tom Cruise War of the Worlds, and then the Tom Cruise Mummy.
What Reddit is Romany? Reddit having a Frenchman in the series has been a top ask amongst
it. Would take it from good to great.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
they need someone in there being like sacre bleu. Like that's what they need to happen when they see a dinosaur.
Oh la la.
This is why the French hate us.
Yes, and that's fine. The other thing that bugged me is that they keep painting. Every single time that there's been a Jurassic Park movie, there is always some big bad, right? Like there's always some dinosaur to be scared of that you see throughout. In the original, it was the T-Rex and then the Velociraptors. Right. In the second one, it was the T-Rex and the baby, and that was a whole thing. Right. In the third one, it was the cell phone and the Spinosaurus. There was always something, and you see them a lot. And in this one, they introduce the big scary genetically modified dinosaur at the beginning, and then they go 2 hours, and they're like, you never see it again. And at the end, they're like, well, there he is. And you're like, oh, cool.
For 2 minutes.
For
Like 2
Oh,
minutes.
interesting.
Like
Is it like a
it's
boss
like
fight
five-
situation?
Yeah, essentially, he's the final boss. I don't want to stake on this because we're gonna get to Man of Steel. The thing that's interesting with the dinosaurs in general that I was confused about, it seems like they all hit a certain point where they just gave up. There's a swimming
all the
Tyrannosaurus.
dinosaurs
Like
they're
they
all
have
tired.
a T-Rex that like swims underwater, that can breathe underwater, which is like
Oh.
one of the things that's in this movie.
That's
I think that's a
terrifying.
really cool concept.
Very
However,
cool.
the T-Rex kind of just gives up, and it doesn't really feel like a T-Rex. It just feels like a chicken trying to figure it out how to peck through like a boat, like the
Well,
little.
I mean, they
nice
were
yellow
related.
boat.
They are related to birds.
Oh, well, maybe
so-
that's why they did that. It just
But-
really felt like it didn't feel like a T-Rex moment. It was still scary, but
Yeah.
at a certain point, once they hit the wall, it kind of just gave up. The D-Rex also kind of just was done. Like once it hit the water, it was like D-Rex was like, "Well, guess I can't swim. This bitch got 4 arms."
Also,
So it was
D,
like, "What the fuck?"
also the D apparently stands for something.
Dinosaur,
No.
Dinosaur Rex?
Distorus.
Denzel, Distorus,
Distorus Rex. Because and the only reason why I know
Denzel
that
Rex. All right, all right.
smoke it, motherfucker, or we have a problem.
This is so stupid.
Fucking
Yeah,
that T-Rex is pressuring everyone into angel dust.
Yeah.
That is all that he's done. I didn't know you got wet.
You know
All right,
what?
anyway.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna derail us. Keep going.
don't wipe that shit, motherfucker. That's alpaca. You blind. You
He
blind.
called me, got shit on me.
Because it's a dinosaur. That's really good. That's Denzel Rex.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wait. Oh my gosh.
Brian, I'm sorry. Are you okay? Brian
Y-
just realized
is
what we
this-
were doing.
Hang on a second. I don't think
The
this
sheriff
is a
went,
spoiler.
oh, this sounds inappropriate.
The sheriff said, "Hold on, let me
This,
look up this."
the dinosaur you're talking about?
Yes.
Sure is.
That is.
All right. This looks very Resident Evil to me.
Yep.
Like
I said Alien
Distorted
versus Predator.
Yep.
Rex. Yeah, it's on the Jurassic Park.fandom website if you want to look it up yourself.
This
to
is
see
where
what this
Roman is.
monstrosity is. Yeah.
Distorus,
okay.
right?
Yeah, Distorus.
Dickory.
Distorus Rex.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
they only-
it's
they-
something.
Dickerisk?
No,
Dick-
Distorus.
Oh,
Distoritus.
Dicorisk.
No,
Dick-
Distoritus. Sorry.
Dickorisk. That's me at the club. It just gotta
Yeah, it's got
figure it
like
out.
5 arms. I don't know. It's a whole thing.
This thing is
I
ugly.
mean, I'm into this. I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie.
it's
Like,
terrifying. It's just they don't
Yeah,
ever
I
use
get a
it.
little chub.
Okay,
all right.
let's just go. Let's talk about Man of Steel for a minute.
That's what I get. I'm a Man of Steel. Looking at the D-Rex.
Speaking of Man of Steel,
Well, I'm glad
we
you enjoyed
watched-
the movie.
I mean, here's the thing.
It was good.
It's
It was fine. It's fun.
It's fine. It's
Yeah,
fun. It's
it's
got
fun.
good action. However, there are moments where it's like, what the fuck is happening?
I'll say this
here?
before we move on. It does feel like a one-off. You know how like Chris,
Yeah.
Yes,
the,
it does.
the Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, their
Yep.
version of Jurassic Park
Yep.
felt like a trilogy that led into the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
This one did just feel like its own individual. I don't know if Scarlett Johansson and that crew comes back again. Like they,
Oh.
it's it.
Yeah. They
So-
keep saying like how like and that's the big like articles like on IGN and others. It's like
No one's king shaming anyone. I like what you like.
yeah, it is like the Skynet
That's true.
creatures in reverse. There's all these articles of like this is how you missed it. You got to watch it again because this is how it sets up a sequel.
Oh,
and it's
really?
like I don't need
No.
to do that.
No,
Get
no,
out,
no,
guys.
don't do
I
that.
do
and the
not.
random family that was introduced in it. It's interesting.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But we do have Supermania stuff to get into. We watched 2013's Man of Steel, directed by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Zack Snyder.
Zachary,
Marcus, you are our resident Kryptonian. Let's get into it, sir.
listen. So, Man of Steel, the follow-up, the next iteration of Superman that we get right after Superman Returns. This takes our boy Henry Cavill in his premiere role as the Man of Steel. It takes us to a brand new retelling of this story. Zack Snyder's 300, all of his directorial styles he brings to the Man of Steel. What we have is a Clark is out there alone in this world, discovering who he's supposed to be, not really having any information or knowledge about who he is. So you see him as this kind of ghost that lives. He's hopping job to job. He's doing all of these different things while also simultaneously helping people, still following that traditional storytelling. The other thing that we also see is a Lois Lane, who is an active detective and active journalist who has really stumbled upon Clark and as this helpful ghost that exists. She is connecting the dots on who he is, and she finds out who he is, which puts him in a situation to have to make this decision on if the world is ready or not for a Superman or for him to reveal himself. He gets forced into that situation when Zod, who was Zod and his crew of tyrants and rebellious against the Council on Krypton, which I really want to talk about that Council of Krypton. They are never portrayed in a great way, but they are put in the Phantom Zone. They're put in their prison, and they try to take over Krypton because they realize that the Council's not doing their job. While Jor-El was trying to save Krypton and let them realize, like, hey, we took the reserve energy from the core. This place is gonna blow up. The Council does not give a fuck. So Jor-El puts the last. Puts the codex of Krypton, which is essentially all of the genes and everything that makes up Krypton and all of its people, inside of Kal-El or Clark, and then ships him off to Earth. We see Clark have to fight with this. Zod shows up looking for that codex to bring back Krypton on Earth, really trying to make Earth Krypton using what's the thing that they do with the gravity?
The world engine.
The world engine. Thank you. As they try to literally change it by killing all the humans. Superman and Zod end up having a fight because he doesn't want his adoptive home world perishing.
Yep. Great synopsis. Henry Cavill, Amy Adams, Michael Shannon plays Zod, Kevin Costner plays Jonathan Kent, Diane Lane plays Martha Kent, Lawrence Fishburne is in this.
Sure is.
Christopher Maloney, Russell Crowe. This is a great cast. Really, really, really solid cast. It did come out in 2013. Budget was between 225 million to 260 million, give or take. Box office was $670.1 million. The interesting thing here is
it's Nikki. It is crazy how Henry got even hotter from this.
Yes, Henry Cavill just keeps getting hotter.
Good.
I agree.
Looks good.
It's like an evolution, evolution of hotness is what it is.
Yes, it is. It is an evolution of hotness. Yes.
The interesting thing is that this whole thing was an idea that Christopher Nolan pitched. He pitched it to WB in 2009. There was also a court ruling in 2009 that said that the Jerry Siegel's family recaptured the rights to Superman, and they said that they would start to have to get royalties, but they never would have to. WB would never have to go back and pay royalties for movies that had already been made. However, there was a stipulation in the court ruling that said if they started production before 2011, they wouldn't need. It would have WB avoid having to pay them additional royalties. So guess when they started production?
2011.
August 2011. Yeah, it says
of course they did.
The decision stated that Warner Brothers did not owe the families additional royalties from previous films, but if they did not begin production on a Superman film by 2011, then Schuster and Siegel Estates would be able to sue for lost revenue on an unproduced film. So there you go.
Listen, as part of Supermania month, I do not have the capacity to go into all of the legalities of this whole thing, but it does keep popping up. And do know that it will pop up again next week. And because there were some things that happened with like James Gunn's Superman and the family also, trying to take this to court. I think we'll have to have that conversation next week, which will give me some time to do some research on like what the fuck is actually happening.
Yeah, there's some stuff going on. Yep.
And I think it gets really messy because of when this character was created, because it wasn't DC Comics wasn't like Detective Comics was not what DC is today, and the landscape was totally different. And there's an entire thread here about how workers are treated. So I definitely think that's a deep dive for next week about where everything stands.
The other thing is, I'll include this in the episode description. There's a great documentary on it. Like, we don't even need to cover it because other people have covered this in such depth about the creation of Superman, the Schusters, and like all of this. They've covered it so well. So I'll include that title in the episode description and where you can find it. So that way, if you want to check it out, because they do an in-depth like dive into this is how this all went down. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, but let's focus on the movie itself. So this movie at the time and can be for some divisive among Superman fans. But I am curious, Brian and Marcus, how did you all
that's my line.
Marcus, if it's okay with you, how did you all first experience this movie? See, I asked for permission. And like so
consent is hot, turns me on.
I'm hot just talking about consent. See, now I'm distracted. You do it.
All right, Marcus.
Oh my God. So Brian and Doug, how did you all experience Man of Steel? Where were you? How did you consume it? What made you go see it? Tell me a little bit about that.
I mean,
I'm still thinking about consent.
I mean, for me, like I was very. We don't know what that.
We don't know what the fuck that was.
It was the devil.
Pop in the comments.
Mephisto.
So basically, for me in Man of Steel, I skipped this in the theater. Wholesale skipped it because I am not the person I am today. Back in 2013. So like I skipped it. I was like, no, I'm not gonna watch Superman. I know what that is. And then after it came out was when I heard all the divisive stuff. I didn't understand why it was divisive. I was like just above the fray. So then Maggie and I got it from a red box, if people remember those.
Oh yeah.
Went down the street.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, red box. I went down the street to the gas station. I rented the DVD, walked back, and we watched Man of Steel. And like this was I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the end of it because it took it in such a different direction, and we can talk more about that. But like I was sitting in my living room like, oh, I see what people are talking about now. So like I had a solitary experience. Like, well, I was with Maggie. So Maggie and I just had this experience, just the two of us. We didn't see it in theaters.
I love that. So, sorry, y'all. The playback on this video the playback on the pod is gonna be crazy because whatever the fuck that noise was, it also caught me off guard. So
it was the ghost of Ann Coulter, is what it was. Like she was just she got into phantom form and tried to ruin. I
didn't hear anything audio wise, so I'm curious.
You should call somebody to get that motherfucker out of your house because that's not gonna do you any good.
I don't think it's in the house. I think it's in the system, is what it is.
No, don't put that. Anyway, okay. Well, how did you experience Man of Steel?
I saw it in a theater. And I remember when I saw it.
You saw me, Nikki. I dead ass. It scared the fuck out of me because these shits is turned up. I don't know what that was.
I saw it in the theater and I loved this movie. Like I thought it was awesome. I really appreciated the way it was done. I was a big fan of 300. I had seen Watchmen at that point in time, so I appreciated Zack Snyder's style. It was something at the time that I was like really jazzed about. I remember seeing this and being like, "This is awesome! I love this kind of new take on it." Or a different way of telling the story. I also remember at the time really loving the fact that they didn't feel like they needed to do a Superman story with kryptonite because they always seem like that's something that they have to have. So I always appreciated the fact that they just were able to tell a story and some of the different concepts, like the atmosphere of Krypton being what's weakening Clark and Superman. So I love that. But again, I'm not the person I am now. Back then, I'm a different person because of growth. And so I wasn't really interested in Superman very much at the time. It wasn't a character I was aware of. It wasn't something I was really focused on. So I came at this strictly from like a movie fan. I said I wasn't the person I am now. You put those back on.
I'm a Superman fan now.
Growth. We did it. I did the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so at the time, I wasn't really a comic book person back at the when I first saw this. So I'm coming up with any reason for Marcus not to be mad at me. I think the sun was in my eyes. I panicked. They said, "Do you know Superman?" And I was like, "I don't know who he is."
I don't know him.
And so, but yeah, I remember liking this. So yeah.
We do need more Patty members for an exorcist for sure. I'm gonna call Nikki and Roman to come over here and exercise whatever the fuck that voice was.
Get her out of the system.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Man of Steel is. I'm gonna start with a comment Brian made in the chat like twice. That the whiplash that he gets when you go from Superman Returns to Man of Steel,
man,
it is a hard pivot. Talking about
it
Superman.
is indeed.
I think I also had that experience of like. Okay, I was also familiar with Zack Snyder from 300. So what's interesting to me as a young movie person, you understand directors, but this was the first time I understood directors with directing styles because I knew Zack Snyder was slow-mo and had a certain tone from 300 and Watchmen, and I didn't understand the concepts of like, oh, directors apply that thing to when they direct movies. There are some that like they have a shtick, like they have a thing that's their thing. This was my first time really piecing that together. Like, oh, I get that now, right? And then when I went back, I was able to look at James Gunn and his like director style and all of these other people, right? So I was excited because there is a certain grit that comes with 300, a certain feel that comes with 300 that says we're going to take Superman more seriously. In a darker tone, it was new because this entire movie is grayish scale. And it's just darker, right? Maybe not grayscale.
It plays with light a lot.
It does play with light and like J.J. Abrams flares and all that kind of like it does like a lot of interesting things. But I enjoyed Man of Steel because of the story that they took. Like I remember when the teaser image came out of Henry Cavill on the safe, he's on the vault safe. And that had hit the internet, and that was like a little bit around the era before the internet was what it is today. When things would hit the internet, it was like it would catch fire because I was on like superherohype.com every single day. I was on that bitch every day reading different articles. That's the type of nerd I am. That's the exact image, Brian. So when this shit hit the internet, I was like, ooh, I like this a lot. Now, what they did do strategically was hide the trunks in the shadow because he didn't want people to know that there was no underwear on this man.
That's a great point. Yeah, because in this photo, he's like kind of hunched over. So there's a giant shadow blocking his legs. That's a great call out,
but you can't say thank you. But he, you know, looking back on it, like these are the images that he also dropped for Batman versus Superman when Batman dropped. When we found out he was directing that, Batman next to the Batmobile, he was very good for this style. I love the symbol. I loved what they did with telling the story of Krypton, even on the internet when they had make your name into Kryptonian letters and it would explain to you all of the lineage behind. Like they built lore and an alphabet and like all of these things. They gave Superman a lot of teeth when it came to like what was like in his story and like the roots to who he is.
That was very common for the time though. Like every movie had a website and they all had like activities and stuff. Like the height of the internet
I missed that.
Was all about that shit.
Yeah. I'm surprised we don't have that more because like that's exactly what we would get. It would be something so small, but then this was back in the day, like you would make it and then you would print it and be able to hang it.
Yeah.
Like I had this shit around my room at the time of but I missed that. It made Superman a very big deal, but I remember people being very divisive about it.
Yeah.
When it came out.
I mean, I remember people being, I'm so tongue tied because I'll never forget this interaction I had of someone being like, oh no, I don't, not that Superman movie.
Yeah,
absolutely not. And I was like, oh, why? And they're like, Superman, I mean, spoilers for Man of Steel, Superman doesn't kill and it's too moody. And it's like, I remember Christopher Reeve, like you would get these reactions from people that were so genuinely strong in their beliefs about what Superman should be. And here I was like, man, I thought it was a good movie. Like, and now I appreciate Man of Steel for what it is, because I do feel like this is a good point to talk about, that Man of Steel is the direct logical reaction to the reception that Superman Returns got. Middling reviews, misguided story with more of a focus on a villain than actually Superman, and Brandon Routh being forced to be this mute, golem that we talked about last episode. He's not actually like expressing himself. And then you get to Man of Steel, and this man is on the deadliest catch. You see he's scared. You see that he has like fear. He has concern.
He's got chest hair.
I mean, he does. Like that's that, as you should. Like, I mean, even this photo, I don't even think it's that like big of a deal, but like the concern that he has on his face.
He was acting.
Like, Brandon Routh never even got that far. It was more like, when you get a notification on your phone you don't recognize and then you swipe it away. I think that's the most concern he has in Superman Returns. Not by him. That was a clear direction that he was given. So this movie has him yelling, shouting, like smiling. It's just such a huge change that it takes you a minute to kind of get used to it.
Well, you can thank Christopher Nolan for that, because this was almost a sequel to Superman Returns. Like,
was it really?
If WB had their way, they would have made a sequel to Superman Returns. They would have dove into Brainiac and Lex Luthor more. They had a bunch of comic book writers submit like scripts and storyboards and things like that. Grant Morrison submitted a script that was damn near identical to All-Star Superman.
No way.
And that's what he wanted it to be. And so the trick was trying to come up with a director. They really pushed Bryan Singer to come back and direct again. But he ultimately passed. Some of the other folks that they approached, because what they wanted this to be is, and I think that this is an accomplishment to Zack Snyder, is this movie can stand alone.
Yeah, it does do that. Yeah,
it has it. There are very small references to other superheroes or other identities here. I mean, if you look really closely on the satellite when he's fighting Zod, there's a Wayne Enterprises logo on the satellite. Like, if you look fucking closely and you stop it, but that was stuff that where they were like, we don't need to add that, but that was the plan for, like, they really wanted to have some other references, but they approached, here's some other folks that they approached, given their time, given the time, they approached Guillermo del Toro because of Blade 2. They asked him to do it. Also, one of the producers had worked with him on Blade 2 and really wanted to do it. Robert Zemeckis from Back to the Future was approached to direct this movie. Ben Affleck, Darren Aronofsky, Duncan Jones, Jonathan Liebsman, Matt Reeves, and Tony Scott were all considered to be directors of this movie. But Zack Snyder was ultimately hired in October 2010. And yeah, I'll leave that fun fact there as we continue. I have others.
Flash forward about 10 years, and the amount of mixed reception that you get from Man of Steel. You flash forward about 10 years, and people are in a revolt and doing full-on campaigns for releasing the Snyder cut of Justice League, right? Like, there's a lot of drama. We all know that when we've kind of talked about on this podcast over the years that we've existed, because that's how long this has kind of been happening, which also says how long it took to get another Superman movie, because we've covered the drama of WB, Superman, Zack Snyder, Whedon, like all of those things. As long as this podcast has existed, since Brian has joined us, this has been a topic of discussion years ago, right? And so it tells you a lot about what this movie did and what it kind of did to superhero films, right? Because the Dark Knight comes out when?
Before this,
a grounded Batman with Nolan. you kind of are getting. I consider this a grounded Superman, like in a realistic world.
Sorry. Scratch that. Batman
Oh.
Begins comes out before this.
Batman Begins. Okay.
Because
Dark
one of the problems that they were trying to figure out what to do was they weren't sure if they wanted to include all of the references to Batman. And what they were waiting for is they were waiting for Nolan to sign on to do another one.
Got it.
Oh.
So they were like, is he going to do another one? Because there's no point in us introducing any references to Bruce Wayne or Batman. And so because they were unsure, they kept that one tiny little reference on the satellite, and that's it.
So they were going to make it a conjoined universe.
They were ready to.
That would have been an interesting one too.
Dark Knight Rises came out in 2012. So I mean, this is absolutely in the conversation.
Yeah. Tone, it's the tone, it's the groundedness. Like, okay, we talk about it in every episode. So I want to go back a little bit. The suit. You see a lot in this suit because it's more alien. It has a little bit more on its suit where it has lines in it that kind of screams out like alien, not of this world. It's not of this planet. It doesn't have trunks on it. And that was it shouldn't be that big of a fucking deal. But this was around the time when that conversation of does Superman need trunks or not need trunks? And this for me was when I saw other iterations like animations and all that other kind of thing start following this trope of like, don't give him any trunks. Like, it doesn't make sense. Why does he have underwear on? Like, that's such a weird thing to do because we didn't see Batman and Nolan have that. He had a suit that was armor on, and like you don't have underwear on top of that. And now we get back to having trunks in it with good justification when we get to James Gunn Superman. But you see the suit. It's alien. It's not burgundy. It's red. It's metallic. It's muscles.
It's very textured.
It's very textured. Yeah. The build of this Superman is also significantly different than Brandon Routh's Superman and any Superman we've honestly seen before it. This motherfucker is a tank.
This was the height of like, make sure that all of our superhero actors make sure they put on about 20 pounds of muscle before we start shooting.
Because when did Green Lantern come out? This is random,
Green Lantern
before this. I bet it was 2011.
I think it was 2011.
If it was 2011, like that was also like Ryan Reynolds got ripped for fucking
2011 was Green Lantern.
Ryan, look at us. We fucking nailed it.
Y'all are actually killing that shit. That's actually great.
That's because I love Green Lantern. We'll talk about that later.
I didn't think Green Lantern was that.
It was rough.
It was rough.
It's a mess, but it's a fun mess.
It's a fun mess.
Okay.
It's a Ryan Reynolds
mess. We're gonna come back to the suit, but I am gonna share an Easter egg really, really quick as we're talking about Green Lantern, and then we'll go back to the suit. Did you all catch that the captain that accompanies?
He's the Green Lantern. Yep.
No, she's Captain Ferris. So Carol Ferris is this captain that accompanies the commanding officer in the Man of Steel movie.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so you can barely see it on her name tag here. In this shot that I'm
Superman
showing.
hot. She said he's kind of hot,
which is wild that Carol Ferris, potential Star Sapphire leader, the only thing she says in this movie is he's so hot. I'm like, oh my gosh, like as a comic book enjoyer, knowing Carol Ferris is like central to the emotional ring situation.
Yeah.
That entire thing, and all she says is he's so hot is just absolutely bonkers. But yeah, anyway, they put a Green Lantern Easter egg in this film, so we can go back. We can go back to your regularly scheduled.
So you get a Bruce Wayne reference, a Martian Manhunter, but that's later on down the road.
Wait, I don't know about the Martian Manhunter one.
Oh, the general is Martian Manhunter.
You're kidding?
No, it's in the Justice League in the extended cut. He is the Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Snyder also indicates that there is a Booster Gold reference somewhere in the film as well.
What the fuck?
Where I
missed Booster Gold.
You missed the Booster Gold reference. That's crazy.
Yep.
So basically, I know really quick. So this photo I'm showing, it's Star Sapphire and Martian Manhunter just hanging out in United States NORAD. Okay, got it.
Curious.
Got it.
That's what makes this movie interesting, and the entire timeline of Snyder's Superman so interesting because he clearly had some plans and is a fan of DC, right? He is a fan of Superman, right? And Superman was the spark and the start to this fantastic story. Number one, Henry Cavill kills it. I think he does a great job with like what he's given in the story that they're trying to tell in this very standalone Superman superhero film. And he's surrounded by a cast that follows that and supports that very well. Now, keep in mind, this is not the downfall of this movie for me. They don't give you the balance of Clark Kent, the clumsy man, and Superman.
Absolutely not.
They just give you Clark Kent, but it's not even Clark. He's just this ghost trying to figure it out, which is part of the story. But you don't get that. The only time you get Clark is in the last 2 minutes when he's putting on the glasses and saying he wants to work somewhere where he can be on the ground and hopping into the elevator at the Daily Planet. That's
they made this they made this like a Clark Kent origin story. Like to a certain extent.
Very origin, because they tell number one, they tell all of Krypton's story with Jor-El kicking ass on the planet, trying to go find the Codex, trying to get to it. He's swimming, he's diving, he's shooting guns, he's fighting the council, he's doing a whole bunch of shit in that first 17 minutes.
Yeah. I agree, Marcus. I think the credit, Cavill has been criticized for this in the past, where he gets really nitpicky on details, and he gets really that was the complaint of him getting kind of like kicked off of Witcher, right? Was he kept saying like that's not to the source material. So he's one of those folks who likes to get into the source material. He is credited as saying that he had 4 comic books that were the inspiration for his portrayal. They were The Death of Superman, The Return of Superman, Superman Red Sun, and Superman Batman The Search for Kryptonite. So he was like, he really wanted his interpretation to be as close to those as possible. He also was not the first choice for Superman. Tyler Hoechlin, who played
Superman in the TV show
Superman and Lois, he auditioned. Matthew Good, Armie Hammer, Jamie Dornan, Joe Magliano, Joe Magigello, and Colin O'Donoghue were also considered.
Okay, so I see the direction they wanted to go for their look of Superman. I got it. The build makes all the sense in the world for all of the comics that he picked.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. I'm
interested.
Taking a pause for Red Sun at the moment. I think to me, using Red Sun as a guiding post, I love Red Sun. It's one of my favorite stories, even beyond like Superman, like all-timer comic book graphic novel. And I think it's interesting he chose that one, because I feel like it dives into what is the other side of Superman if he's not a United States citizen, and trying to get to the core of that, I think, is impressive. I think it's fascinating he chose that as the compass for this, as one of his compasses for the movie. I think that's really bold.
Well, Brian, what's really interesting is that even the first 2, so Christopher Reeve, we get a lot of that like truth, justice, American way. We also get that a little bit in Superman Returns.
Yeah.
There is none of that here.
No.
Like if anything, the major plot point is the United States government is not sure if they can trust him.
They don't.
And there is a whole
no. They don't trust him.
Yeah. They don't initially. They don't, but then
they shoot him.
Then Christopher Maloney eventually says, "This man is not our enemy."
Yes.
So like they eventually get to that point, but even after the events with General Zod, there is the U.S. government is still watching him, and he's like,
find out where
you try to back the fuck up. So like there's a whole antagonistic element between the government and Superman throughout all of this, which is for Superman and for what maybe more traditional comic book folks recognize him as. And one of the critiques that Batman fans even will give of Superman as a character is he's a puppet of the U.S. government. Frank Miller goes so far as to strike that tone in The Dark Knight Returns, which is an amazing comic book. But like that whole piece is there. So like it's a very different take than what I think some were expecting.
Okay. Man of Steel does something really interesting in its storytelling. and it tells a lot of parallels. And really, and Doug has a point, and I'm telling this to lead into Doug's point about Jor-El.
Yeah.
But Jor-El sends him to this planet knowing that he will be a god. Jor-El is an actual father in this that is struggling with this idea of, I have to send my son off. I'm sending my son off because this planet is dying. We knew what the plan was. He's of natural birth, the first one of Krypton in centuries to have a natural birth, because the Codex it selects, and everybody has a thing that they do. General Zod is a general from birth. You do not get to choose. That is what you are bred to be, right? And they have that Zod and Superman have that conversation too as well. Like, I've trained my whole life for this moment, and you've been on a farm this entire time, right? So a farm. So like, it's an essential part of the story to have one. First of all, this is one of the best and my favorite iterations of Zod, because Zod has points. Okay, genocide is not one of the points that I would agree with, but I understand that he's like, I'm trying to save my family. Like, that's what I'm trying to save my planet. They really double down on the last son of Krypton. I think that this story does a good job of, like, there's a time and place to reveal who you are to the world and whether or not they will accept you, and you have to make that decision. Superman is then forced into that decision when Zod shows up and say, "Hey, motherfucker, knock, knock. We here, and I'm looking for Kal-El. He been hiding here for 33 years. Give him up, or I'm blowing this bitch the fuck down."
Well, and even he struggled, and even Superman Jonathan did such a good job of having him think about whether or not humanity was ready for that. That even when General Zod shows up, he's like, I don't know if I should do this. And there's that exchange
with
between him
and
the priest.
Mom. And the priest. And
the priest, where he says, like, the priest has to be like, sometimes it takes a leap of faith and trust comes later. So,
and I know people hate the tornado scene. Me and Mason had a whole conversation about this.
Oh man,
I know people hate the tornado scene, but I think what I want people to remember is, in Superman, the original, Jonathan Kent is alive for a whole 3 minutes before he has a heart attack and he dies. And the lesson is like, I had all these powers and I cannot save my father. Granted, I think that a tornado, and doing it with a tornado hits, and the guy's caught. My dad is out there trying to save people. I could go save my dad right now and reveal to everybody that I'm Superman. I know I'm faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive. But the whole point is Jonathan saying now's not the time, because he just had an argument with Clark in the car where they're going back and forth, and Clark tells him, "You're not my parent. You're not my parents. I'm trying to figure it out. I want to help people. I want to do my own thing." And he's like, "Son, you're not ready for the burden that comes with revealing yourself right now." Is it a dramatic way to tell that story with a tornado? Yes. However, if you can't stop a heart attack, and you have the power, but have to show the restraint to not use your powers to save your father from a tornado, I think that there's a lesson in that, and there's a message in that is laced throughout the entire movie that I think if you don't pay attention enough, you can miss it and be like, I hate that.
I also think it's incredible parallel storytelling too.
Yes.
Because what you did is you stood up the two father figures
against each other.
You basically said, like, Superman has two father figures. He has You're Gonna Have a Bad Day, Russell Crowe, on the one side of, like, I was looking at his filmography and I was like, man, is that the last movie he did before he did Unhinged? It's not. He did a bunch of shit. I was really disappointed.
This does feel like the last movie he actually, like, cared about. Though,
correct.
And tried for him.
Yeah, because the next movie right after that is where he did the Noah's Ark biopic called Noah, where he played Noah. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. But you have Jor-El on the one side, who is, I have to make the ultimate sacrifice for the best interest of my son. I am laser focused on the mission. Even my wife cannot talk me out of this is the right course of action. He is principled. He is disciplined. He has a set of values and rules that he passes on through Clark to Clark and Cal when he gets to Earth, and they have their conversations when he's a projection, like a computer program.
It's a little bit more advanced, like
AI, like a hologram, basically. ChatGPT. But then he also has he also has Kevin Costner, who's teaching him very similar things of like,
Yeah.
there are rules, like you need to know that there are consequences for your choices. Like there are both sort of teaching the same thing. And what I appreciate is if you're not paying attention, you're going to write that off as, well, you don't learn anything because you know what I mean? Like, yeah, he can't control that. But what I think is really great is the movie then positions after that as how Clark and Cal really emerge as a combination of the two worlds that raised them.
Mm-hmm.
And that shows throughout the latter half of the movie really, really well, but it's easy to get caught up in the detail around the tornado.
Can I offer some pushback a little bit?
You may, but I'm not going to hear it because I'm going to fight you.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I appreciate the honesty.
Just letting you know what you're getting into.
Let's do it.
I think
wrong.
I think.
Go ahead. Sorry,
wow, you wasted no time for that.
asshole.
That punchline was immediate.
Yeah, that's what made it funny.
It's so loud. So my pushback is this. I think the opposite. You might be right, and I would need to go look at the dialogue again. I think that Jor-El and Jonathan are kind of painted differently as fathers, slightly.
Okay. Sure.
And Jor-El is saying you're going to go to this planet and you're going to be a god among them, and you're going to fly and be this symbol of hope. And this stands for a symbol of hope that you wear on your chest. Like, this is our crest and this is our family.
Yeah.
He says all of these things. He will be unstoppable. The sun will make him a god. They will follow him. And while Jonathan, for the first part, out of protection, is telling Clark, you got to essentially know when to be ready to reveal yourself. If you reveal yourself, they are going to come after you. If you reveal yourself, they're going to want to come find you. And like, you gotta know what comes with that. You got to show restraint. You got to show these things. And I think to me that I received the message in like, that's why Clark has this battle of, when he says, I really wanted to hit that kid. I really wanted to hit that kid.
Yeah.
And his dad's like, I really wanted you to hit him. But if you got to see what happens after that fact, but to your other point, there is this collision of fatherly mentorship that comes, and there's a lot of lessons there that, like, even Martha says, your dad always knew who you were going to be, that you were going to change the world. Jonathan says that to Clark in that same conversation where he's like, son, whatever man that you decide to be, whatever character that may be, good or bad, he's going to change the world. Yeah. And Jonathan was prepping him to be Superman, quote unquote, while Jor-El was like, you're going to be the god among men out there and they're going to follow you. Both saying the same thing, but a different lesson to get there.
Yeah. No, great point. Yeah. That's awesome insight. Agree.
But all of that is still valid. And it's why I really got to give kudos to the writing, because there's a lot of bars that are dropped throughout this entire fucking movie.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there are.
From Zod, from Superman, from just all of these different people and these different points of dialogue that they are having really good conversations of. One of the bars in there, once again, not about genocide at all, but Zod and Jor-El, the ghost of Jor-El, is going back and forth in the ship as Zod is taking over the ship. And he says, listen, he's Zod, this isn't going to change you. You got to remember the man you are. You can't come over here taking over their planet. You're talking about genocide. And Zod says, yes, I know. And I'm arguing its merits with a ghost. And like, that is such a fire ass bar just in general for them to be going back and forth, that Zod stood on business. Like, he knew who the fuck he was. This was not some man in a leather strap suit. Like, no knock to the original, but like, Zod just ain't flying around here in leather. This motherfucker was ready and built for war.
Yeah. The whole line, Marcus, that whole line of like, where he says after all of the people have been sucked back away from Earth and the world engine is destroyed, and he has that monologue of like, I have been raised from Earth to protect Krypton and its people, and you just took all of that from me. What more do I have to do now than to make you suffer? Holy shit. Like, that motivation is incredible.
I feel like, and that is what, honestly, I've never been that intimidated by a Superman villain, right? Like, because that's always not the point is the strength of the villain. But that, like, watching this movie, you're like, oh, like, Zod is a man with nothing to lose now.
Yeah.
Like what does that look like in a Superman story? And I think that's why it was so shocking, because I mean, in my head, the first time I watched it, I'm like, well, Superman, he's always going to find a way. He's always going to find a way. And then there's this moment where they hit the train station and he's got him in like a headlock or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, he's going to like, my interpretation was going to be like, oh, he's going to like put him to sleep with like a sleeper hold or whatever. And then he lasers him. And it's like, oh, this is something completely different, but on the same page. Like Superman doesn't really have a choice. Like Zod is growing in strength so fast and adapting to Earth's atmosphere so fast
quickly
that the way the story sets it up, there is no other choice. And I stand by that. I think that is a good story choice and a good direction for Superman to go, and trying to reckon with that and deal with that, because this movie does feel like it is Superman and the logical consequences of being a superpowered alien.
Yep.
Like that is what this movie feels like.
Yep.
Yes, if you're Lois Lane and you write a story about an alien and don't publish it, yes, the FBI is going to show up at your door immediately and take you away. If this alien is saying that I've nothing to lose, yeah, you're probably going to take him out of the picture. And it goes on and on. There's a ton of other examples here of, and even to your point of like when to reveal yourself. I think it's an even more pertinent point in the age of social media. Like if a Superman were to exist today, TikTok would be such a weird place to be. I mean, I can't even imagine it. Like the amount of lives just staring at the sky or whatever would just be insufferable. And I think they all make great points.
Well, what's interesting is that Christopher Nolan didn't want him to include that moment when they were originally discussing
That's fascinating.
David Goyer, who wrote the movie, had to he worked with Zack Snyder. So Zack wanted to introduce this element of like, would Superman kill if he didn't have a choice?
Yeah.
And
Zack loved that shit, boy.
Zack loves that fucking shit. And so would he kill if he didn't have a choice? And Christopher Nolan was like, I don't want to go down that road. Like, I don't think it's important to include. And so he worked with David Goyer, who wrote the movie. And essentially they wrote that scene. They pitched it to Nolan. And he was like, all right, if that's the way you're going to do it, fine. Like for him, that killing moment only works, Brian, because of those stakes that you're talking about. And it is so well executed.
It is well executed. I mean, the guttural scream shout out to Henry Cavill. Superman snaps Zod's neck, a superpowered snap of the neck.
That's right. It's not a
he
laser.
falls on the ground, and then he lets out this guttural, helpless, what the fuck have I done scream. And I think that embodies that decision that he had to make very well.
And I feel like, go ahead, Doug.
No, Brian, please.
I mean, to me, it speaks to me because they're portraying him as this guy in his young 30s, and he is a child from two worlds. Dude has never put on a cape until like the week before.
A week, maybe 3 days before
maybe, right? And you're telling me that he's got to make this impossible choice. Like that totally tracks for where he is at in his life. This is not like the older, wiser Superman. This is like, hey, this is my first bad guy. What do I do? Like, do I kill? Is that what we do here? Like, what do we do?
The woman I love is under attack. My mom's house is like completely fucking destroyed. I don't have, a father figure here. Like you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of different things that he has to experience. My first interaction with anybody of my same bloodline and lineage is somebody that is threatening to attack the earth, and it's on my shoulders. Literally, my civilization is in my bloodline.
Yeah,
this is a lot of decisions for me to make within the week.
Well, and the thing that I mean, you had this like ultimate high-low moment, because after Clark is done training with his projection dad on the spaceship, after he's done like doing that, he goes back to the farm to see Martha, and he has this moment of like jubilation where he is, I found them. I found my real parents. These are all the things that they taught me. And then that night, or at least timeline wise, the way it's portrayed is that night, that's when Zod interrupts. So he had
Yeah.
this moment of, I found my ancestry. I'm super jacked of who they are and what I feel I can be, embracing this side of me I didn't know. And then that side comes calling, and it's like, oh fuck.
All over.
Because Jarrell tells a beautiful story of like, yeah, you come from Krypton, and these are the things that we do.
He
and
tells him about Zod.
He tells him about it.
Yep. There's that whole like image that he's using, like with the pixels or whatever on the ship, where he's like, this is General Zod. He agreed that they fucked up, but kind of went about it the wrong way, and it was a real problem. And then come to find, that's the guy who comes knocking. Like, that's a problem.
And also, this is probably, as we lead into James Gunn's Superman, the last time that we will get, not the last time, that's dramatics, but the last time that we will get that story of Krypton and Superman and the spaceship blasting off, because we didn't really get that. We did get that story here. I was about to say we didn't get that story. They did tell a different version of that story, but it didn't tell the whole lifespan of Clark growing up. We meet him as an adult trying to figure it out, right?
Yep.
James Gunn doesn't seem like he's going back to Krypton for the story that he's telling for what we know. Like, that is probably the most in depth that we're going to get as of now. Maybe we go back and revisit it later, bring back Brainiac, something wild like that. Or maybe they do it in Supergirl. You'll get to see a little bit more of that. But this is the last time that we kind of get that storytelling for this Superman. And I think that that's important to tell.
I feel, and I honestly, this movie is not efficient in its storytelling. We spend almost 25 minutes on Krypton, and it does raise the stakes, and it does make you understand Zod, which I do think are fine points. But
I will find him.
Yes, the iconic "I will find him." He says that 3 times, by the way, in his sentencing sequence. He
to Laura specifically.
And it also feels like Michael Shannon, and I said this in the chat, Michael Shannon feels like he's in a completely different production than everybody else. Like, everybody else is like, all right, yeah, it's like the new cool superhero movie. And then you look at Michael Shannon, and he's like, this is as serious as Hamlet. I'm going to make this as serious as a heart attack. Like, and you're just like, whoa, hey, it's like Superman, right? And Michael Shannon's like, no, it's not. I'm Zod. All right, well, we'll just start rolling.
It's Super Hamlet.
It's Super Hamlet. Yeah.
Do you want to know who else?
Hamlet.
I'm so glad they got Michael Shannon. Do you want to know who else they considered?
Well,
please.
Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Viggo Mortensen, and the guy who played Aragorn in Lord of the Rings. And then also Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh my gosh.
So imagine they took my boy. I've abandoned my child. Imagine that. But Zod. It's insane. It's wild.
I can't see Daniel Day-Lewis doing.
I don't know why.
That feels random as fuck.
He's the only one who probably could have matched that, like, Michael Shannon energy, and that's just because he's a maniac himself.
If it's the same direction, but there's something I gotta tell you. There's something behind those eyes. Yeah. There's something behind those eyes of Michael Shannon.
No, Michael Shannon was nuts. That motherfucker was not playing any games. That I trained my whole fucking life for this shit. Where did you train on a farm? Like, he was disgusting.
I need those two remixed together to like a sweet EDM beat, and that's gonna be my jam for Superman.
I will find him.
Excellent. Yes, we're talking about beats,
and right before the beat drops, silly. I've abandoned my boy. Right before.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Yeah.
This is taking a left.
Yeah, it did. It did take a left. The comments now say, "Give me a Superman movie with the whole cast is just Danny DeVito." I think you can do that with AI now.
It's just the 105-minute monster today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This Man of Steel is. I have to give it credit. It's a good movie. I know a lot of people don't like it, and everybody's welcome to their own opinion. Like, I saw a TikTok the other day that said they were interviewing some guy, and he was telling them that, like, Man of Steel is his favorite movie, like, of all time.
Oh wow!
Of all time, and I respected that. And the guy was like, "Oh God, like, I can't believe that. Like, it's a great superhero movie, but not a great not a great Superman story." The Superman, Batman, James Bond, these are all characters that once a director gets a hold of them, they will mold to the story that the director wants them to be. Right. And that is the story that Zack Snyder wanted to tell in this universe that he wanted to build, in this darker toned, in this more realistic. It's gritty. It is at the time the antithesis to the Avengers, you know, like that's
we've
what
said
it is.
We've said this before, and I stand by it. Of this DC universe that they were trying to build, where it was David Goyer, Christopher Nolan, Zack Snyder, all three of them, and they were, you know, three parts of one whole Kevin Feige, like if we're using the Catholic analogy. It feels very punk rock in comparison to Avengers' pop music. Like it's just that's just the way that it feels. The heroes are grounded, they're gritty, it's a little bit darker.
There's a sequence where Superman sinks into a sea of human skulls.
I forgot about that scene entirely.
It is metal as hell. That's rad.
He did. Yeah. While Zod is explaining his plot, like, it's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this movie, and sorry, Doug, you got something else?
Nothing that's helpful.
Oh, what the fuck?
Take it away, Marcus.
I really enjoy Man of Steel as it kind of not wraps up our Supermania, but definitely catapults us into what we see next, which again will give us whiplash because it's going to tell. It's a completely different feeling. All of these Superman films that we have seen have been a different feeling based off of what people's interpretation of what Superman is. And I do think that there is a little bit of this in everything, especially when you look at the comics, you look at all of these stories. There is a version that is grittier, darker, grounded Superman that has consequences and the stakes are much higher. There is a Christopher Reeves version. There is an all-star Superman version. There is all of these different iterations, even the Brandon Routh. And that's not to say like to rank any of these. The whole point of Supermania month to me is to explore all of the versions of this character and what they wanted to present on screen. And this version just had something different at its forefront. And it wasn't necessarily like hope, or it was hope in a different capacity, right? Because you leave the theater with the way that the movie ends, I feel good about it. Like as a standalone Man of Steel, I wasn't necessarily looking for the sequel or looking for an after credit scene. I felt good about this is how it ended. He figured it out. Was there a lot of destruction? Yes. Yes, collateral damage was through the fucking roof. But it's his third day being a hero. They go and they figure it out, and like that's where they leave you. And I'm not mad at what Man of Steel did.
No,
I agree.
I think what this did is I think it got back to it took a similar. So Christopher Reeve is very, and we talked about this when we did those two, very hope filled and very hope, like look to the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, like that type of thing, like very much so woven throughout. And I think where Superman Returns is they just kind of got away from that, and they forgot about that element, and it gets and we talked about it last week, so I don't want to rehash it because they leaned into the Lex Luthor stuff. What I appreciate about Man of Steel is it's a return to hope. Like it is a return to something, to be someone is going to save us, like that, you know what I mean? There is someone there. It's something to be hopeful for, and I think I appreciate that story, and that like return to its roots a little bit in the character. But Marcus, I think that's a great point overall of these characters there's so much, and this is what makes me mad as a comic book fan, is people like to do this thing where they go like, oh, it's a comic book movie, there's no substance. And it's like, no, there's a lot more nuance here that have done well, like Mephisto in the Ironheart series, like all of those, like if it's done well, it makes you see that complexity to that character. But if it's not done well, then it can go off the rails. So yeah.
Marcus and I are trying to figure out how you know about Mephisto and Ironheart.
Because I have TikTok.
Oh, okay. All
Will
right.
you watch the series? Because me and Brian are in our own private chat having a debrief. Fucking
I'm
hard.
sure you are.
Double secret probation chat.
Yeah, your double secret
It's the Phantom Zone.
probation.
It's the Phantom Zone.
Phantom Zone chat.
Yeah, check
Also,
out this.
the
Check
Phantom
out this
Zone-
motherfucker. It's a picture of me with like horns drawn on with a Sharpie.
The Phantom, no, what the fuck, no. The Phantom Zone was also dicks. Like, did y'all see that? Like when they put them in
I
the.
said that to my wife, and she kind of gave me a look, and I'm like, "Is something wrong with me?" Because those look
When they
very
lift
phallic.
off, it's like balls and like they're it's very
No,
yeah.
I mean it's very phallic.
funny as
When
fuck.
I think it's like I don't know. It's in the first 30 minutes of the movie when they do the sentencing, when they tell him to go to the black hole, and I saw that and I was like, okay, all right, I don't know what I'm watching.
It's just a bad design because you didn't have to do that, I guess. But like, I
It
got
could have
it.
just been pods. Like, why is there a base?
What is
I
the
don't
base? The base
understand.
made it weird as fuck. The base made it strange.
I
Yeah.
don't understand it.
Yeah.
My final thoughts with Man of Steel is that look, Zack Snyder is divisive himself now, and the thing I
Yes,
want
he
to
is.
say is that I think there's another parallel reality where somebody realized that Zack Snyder should just make the Superman movies, and DC actually gets their shared universe together instead of handing the entirety of the reins to him after Man of Steel. And I think that Zack Snyder puts a really fresh take on Superman. It doesn't need to be the only take, but he does very bold things with this character that make you ask really important questions about humanity and what our role is and how do we handle these world-threatening problems. And I think that Man of Steel basically gives space to all these conversations comic book nerds and people alike have had for decades about what would Superman do if they did XYZ. Man of Steel absolutely aims to answer some of those questions, and I think Zack Snyder, for the most part, does a good job answering those questions in Man of Steel and somehow giving you like a ray of hope, which I think is impressive.
Well,
I was
think
way too harsh on this movie when I saw it, and rewatching it, it's a good film.
I will say this. I think this highlights how greedy WB was because
Yep.
there were people who were in Zach's atmosphere that they could have included moving forward that would have solved a lot of this.
Yeah.
But they went chasing the white rabbit a little bit, and they saw Whedon's success, and they were like, just do that. And that, again, that's a whole other episode we could do because David Goyer, if you look at 2004 and beyond, here are the movies David Goyer did, and he was the writer. He did Blade Trinity, then he did Batman Begins, he did The Invisible, he did Jumper, he did The Dark Knight, he did The Unborn, he did Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance. Ignore that one. I said ignore that one. He did The Dark Knight Rises, he did Man of Steel, he did Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice. He was one of the writers.
Damn, David
not one of the writers, either a storyboardist and writer or a full-on writer for all of those DC projects. And look at what's noticeably missing. He does nothing until 2022. Nothing. He was completely cut out of their process of writing. Moving forward. So all of their Justice League shit, I mean, ostensibly Batman versus Superman is a setup to Justice League. And they took the man who wrote Man of Steel and all of the Batman shit and went, you don't need to be involved.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, what?
Man. Yeah, that explains a lot.
That's an introduction in our conclusion that I feel bad for, but I think Brian, your comments go, yeah, that I mean, we knew it was fucked up, but we didn't know how, and now we know how. Because this is a good movie. If you take all of the Batman shit and then you add in this and that comes to fruition in Dawn of Justice, fuck. Like this, we could have had something really special, even with Whedon directing. You could have had it. You needed to have a through line.
Maybe
he's a piece of shit. Maybe. But like, even if I would like to imagine a world where David Goyer is still the writer for Justice League, and he is there almost as a representative of Zack, so Whedon can just finish what he started instead of completely redoing.
It's basically what Feige did. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Nailed it.
Totally.
I have thoughts on that, but we'll save it till after.
Again,
Superman.
this is
no,
I'm breaking all of the rules.
No, it's not the. We
Just
will
say it.
discuss WB's bullshit after we get done with James Gunn's Superman.
Yeah.
Oh,
good call.
That's fair.
Because
That's
I think that the drama that like the whole point of all of that is right. What Doug has said, that is still necessary, and part of the bigger conversation when we get to James Gunn's Superman is they changed their tune. They did learn a lesson when they got Peter Safran and James Gunn to come in here and to take over and start cleaning house with what they wanted to do. Yeah. You have to have a Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League Whedon version, and Justice League extended cut for WB to be like, all right, hold the fuck on. We need to get our ducks in a row here. Yep. That is a conversation I definitely want to have. Unfortunately, we can't have it right now.
Nope, we got to see this next piece.
That's a great point.
That's a great point, though.
Doug. That's a great point, man.
Yeah,
it's sad.
It is, gentlemen. Anything that you all would like to plug for this podcast? Why is it at 10 o'clock they always want us to get more streamers? I don't get it.
Those comments always come late at night.
Hey, like folks, right at 10 o'clock.
Go check out thelovenerds.com. My wife runs that site. She watches these movies with me. Go show her some love over there at thelovenerds.com.
Marcus, what do you got?
Make sure you follow the mantra, never offended, always humble. By the time this comes out on Wednesday, Soul Tie will be dropping a new song tomorrow on Thursday. So he'll be dropping his next single. Is it Nothing Left? Moonshine. He's dropping his next single, Moonshine. And so that'll be out on Spotify everywhere. And then I'm dropping Big Texas on Sunday, 713. Shout out to H-Town. Yeah. But whatever you do, follow the mantra, never offended, always humble. I might be popping up on some random streams here every once in a while, at least on Twitch. Just doing some, I don't know, random solo.
Having fun.
Stuff. Having a good time, you know what I mean? So just keep an eye out here. We'll do some random stuff, really get it going, but follow the mantra, never offended, always humble.
Absolutely. Hey, I want to plug this podcast. If you enjoyed all of Supermania month, if you enjoy talking bratwursts and hot dogs and just if you enjoyed sauerkraut, if you enjoy all of it, recommend us to a friend or a family member. Best way for small podcasts to gain some traction. Or if you're feeling generous, head over to patreon.com/filmsinblackandwhite. Sign up for one of the tiers there. Help make an independent podcast. Roman, there is no time to talk about Whoppers.
Yeah.
There's no time. This is not the time.
We will come back.
The place.
We're going to come back to the winking Whopper.
There is one. There's
Whopper
one
winking and smiling at you like it has a secret.
Yeah. We do have a 3-step process to success that does not involve Whoppers. Brian, what is that first step?
Hey, folks, I'm here to tell you to read a book. Books are good for you. It'll make you interesting. Read a book.
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you to drink some water. It's important. Stay hydrated. We're getting into July and August, typically a little bit hotter, a little bit more humid. Do the prep work now. Get yourself some water. Stay hydrated. It's important. Treat yourself to a bubbler or a fancy water for you, whatever that may be. But that's what I got. Drink some water.
Make sure you wash your ass. You know what I mean? No need to be watching Superman if you're not going to wash your ass. You think he's flying around wearing trunks, saving people and not doing it? You're absolutely wrong. So make sure you get some soap, get yourself a new towel, treat yourself to the nice soap. You know what I mean? The stuff that's good for your skin, and wash that ass, buddy.
Absolutely. That does it for this week's episode of Films in Black and White. We'll be back next week with the big one, James Gunn's Superman. Super excited to talk about that all with you all. So yeah, don't want to miss that. But in the meantime and in the between time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We'll catch y'all next week.
No, I know I'm no Superman. Somebody say I've been waiting.
before we hit end stream, I'm gonna click on something quick.
Bye.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
What
you
you
pushing?
Anyway, end stream.